I'm going through a pretty big transition right now because not only have I just started a new job, but I've actually switched careers. Over the last 2 years, I have been in VetMed as a vet receptionist, and I have recently traded my scrubs for business casual, and I have gone out into the people side of things. I am a scheduling coordinator for a caregiving agency. So we connect caregivers with clients, and it's a lot of answering phones, making phone calls, emails, and obviously scheduling meetings too. I will get to why I left VetMed in a minute, but for now I wanted to share more about this new job. I'm just about to finish my third week and I am still in the overwhelmed phase. It's a lot to learn and I'm still overwhelmed. But that's okay. As I keep telling myself, I will get the hang of it. It's just going to take some time. And thankfully, my new coworker, who I'm working with very closely, who has been a scheduling coordinator for a while, she's very nice and she's been helping me a lot. So I really appreciate that. The biggest benefit for me with this job so far, other than being a good step for my overall career path, is the work-life balance. I get off work every day at 4:30 p.m. I work Monday through Friday and I get off at 4:30. This is just something I'm not used to at all, but it's awesome because I get to spend more time with my daughter and I just have more time in the evenings to do things that I want to and need to do. It's only been a few weeks, like I said, but I've already been able to make dinner with my daughter like 3 or 4 times on a weeknight, which we have not done in I can't even remember when. That has been so nice. I will say that getting up an hour earlier than I used to is really difficult. I really struggle with getting good sleep. Sometimes I have a hard time getting to sleep. Other times I wake up and can't get back to sleep. And a lot of times I have a really hard time getting myself to bed when I want to. And then nights where I go to my dance class and then we have the social party afterwards to practice, those nights are the worst at trying to get to bed on time because usually I would like to stay until about 11, but I have been cutting myself off at 10. I've been sending myself home at 10 from dancing. But even when I get home at about like 10:15, I'm just like, full of energy from the dancing and I don't want to go to bed. I want to sit in my car and scroll on my phone, quite honestly. And I've done that a few times. Or I come inside and I want to chat with my mom or just anything other than sleeping. So the mornings after I've been out dancing are the most brutal, especially if I have therapy the next morning. Now I have to plan my therapy sessions at 7 a.m. instead of 8. 8 was already a very early time to be talking about my issues and my trauma and my mental health. So 7 is, even more difficult. But I think, again, just like it's going to take me time to get the hang of this new role, it's also going to take time to get used to this new schedule. And I really, truly believe it's going to be so worth it because having that extra time in the evening is just so valuable to me. I'm just so grateful for it. You know, before I was getting off at 6, sometimes 6:30, and like on a night where, you know, I needed to stay a little bit extra, then it's like, you know, I'm not getting home until like 7:30 sometimes. And like the evening is pretty much gone at that point. So, oh man, it's just wonderful to get off at 4:30. So grateful for it. Another really great thing about this job is that it's right next to a lovely walking trail. There are trees and an abundance of squirrels and birds, and it runs right next to a little creek. I go walking on that trail every day, usually multiple times a day. So I will almost always go on my lunch break for a walk, and then sometimes I will go onto that trail on my 10-minute breaks. And yes, I do get 2 10-minute breaks, which if you've been in VetMed, you know is not really a thing. I've worked at 2 different clinics and nobody takes breaks. We take our lunches usually, but we don't take breaks. Breaks? What do you mean a 10-minute break? Like that's just not a thing that you do at a vet clinic, at least in my experience. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know if you work in VetMed and you get breaks, because I would be surprised and I'd be very happy for you. Another thing that I really enjoy about my current job is having my own desk, because I got myself a little plant. I've never had this kind of plant before. It's called a calathea. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. If anyone has any tips for how to care for a calathea, please put them in the comments. I would be so grateful, because I don't think she's doing too well. Her leaves, a couple of her leaves are starting to turn yellow, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Please tell me what you need and I'll give it to you. Which I need to come up with a name. Maybe Callie. That's cute, right? Calathea, Callie. Or I could call her Thea. Thea is a good plant name. I don't know. Callie or Thea? I'm leaning Callie. I don't know why. She just seems like a Callie to me. But anyways, when I watered Callie last week, because the instructions on her little tag say to water her once a week, I was noticing that there was like a lot of water still coming out the bottom of the plastic pot that goes in the outward like stone pot, you know? And so I put some paper towels down there, and I realized that I think that was a mistake, because they got all soggy and they stayed soggy. And I did not realize that until today, because I put my finger on the soil to see if it was dry, because tomorrow would be the watering day and the soil was still wet. So I think I may have waterlogged her. So I took the soggy paper towels out and I dried her off, and I picked off her yellow leaves and I threw them away, and I put her back in her spot. I rotated her, gave her some loving words, and we'll see if that helps. But like I said, if anyone has any tips for caring for Callie the Calathea, please let me know, because I would greatly appreciate it. I am technically a plant parent. I have this one back here, and I have my ZZ plant that has been with me for 4 years, but I'm not a very confident plant parent, you know? I do my best, and I'm so grateful that I have kept these 2 alive, but parenthood is hard, and you know, there's no manual. Actually, probably for plant parenting there is, and I should probably read those. But anyways, who has time for that? Another cool thing about my desk is that it is actually a standing desk, or at least it can be. And so I raise it up and down throughout the day, and sometimes I stand and sometimes I sit. And that's great for my posture. It helps me wake up, especially in the afternoon when I start to get super sleepy. But I actually discovered this on accident. I just leaned over, accidentally hit the button, and it moved, and I jumped. And I was like, wait a minute, what? And there were like some arrows, and I pressed the arrow and it went up, and I was like, holy shit, this is so cool. I did not say holy shit because I'm trying to, keep my sailor language to a minimum now that I'm in an office. You know what I mean? No, I'm just kidding. I've heard people swear. And so I think I'm just nervous, it's just my first few weeks and I'm like kind of on my best behavior. I'm sure that'll fade over time, I'm sure. As I get more comfortable. So yeah, that's been fun to, have my own desk to kind of organize the way that I want. I have my sticky note systems going on. I get excited by little things. I was going to get a new stack of sticky notes and I said, ooh, these are fun colors. Also, there's a koi pond in the middle of the building, which has been so fun. I just love seeing those koi fish down there. Also, there's quite a few dogs that people bring with them. I've spotted 3 so far, and I met one of them today. Her name is Fiona. I'm on a quest to meet all the rest of the office dogs. That's been really cool because I miss being around dogs every day at work. That is absolutely something I knew would be so hard about leaving VetMed, and it has proven to be absolutely true. I mean, obviously, I love my own dog, Nova, but there was just something about being around so many dogs on a regular basis that when you love dogs like I do, it's just awesome. And also just being able to help them, because as a vet receptionist, cross-training is a really big thing. And so, your title is receptionist, but you are kind of more like a vet assistant. You're helping the technicians, you're helping the vet. I was always holding pets for their vaccines and procedures and, just all sorts of other things. Yeah, I miss that. I really miss that. I think there's probably some dog walking and or, volunteering at a shelter that is in my future. So that transitions into why did I leave VetMed? The honest answer is it wasn't the best career path for me for cost of living reasons. I am a single parent and I have to provide as best I can for myself and for my kid. And I wasn't going to make enough money and I wasn't going to be able to progress in a career in VetMed. For a while, I strongly considered going the vet tech route, but actually something happened while I was at the clinic. An unexpected emergency came in. It was towards the end of the day in the evening and there was only one tech there and I was the only receptionist. And so I had to help the technician with this emergency by holding this poor little dog. And I will spare you the details for anyone who is squeamish like I am, but I could barely handle holding this dog for the tech to shave her and clean her wounds. It was so extreme, and of course I felt so sad for this dog and I wanted to help, but at the same time I was trying not to faint and or throw up because I was so affected by the goriness of it. And I realized that if that's how I feel just holding the pet and not being the one to do the wound care, then, there's it's probably not possible for me to be the one doing the wound care. And, I overcame a lot of squeamishness that I was worried about in the past going into being a vet receptionist. So, even having emetophobia, I was able to get over being very up close and personal to dogs and cats vomiting. I got over, drool and snot and, etc. Again, I will spare you the details. The things you see in the back of a vet clinic. Oh my God. But I hadn't really gotten like super up close and personal to like a real like traumatic injury, like a real emergency. And I realized, oh God, I am not cut out for this. So that was a big factor in realizing like, oh, this is not really a career for me, unfortunately, because I mean, being a vet receptionist can be a career if that works for someone, but it wouldn't work for me in terms of being able to make enough money that I need to make in order to support myself and my child. And not just the money, but also the hours. Looping back to an amazing part of my current job of being able to get off at 4:30, that's just not really an option as a vet receptionist. Getting off at 6 was not bad. The fact that I had a Monday through Friday schedule was already like kind of unheard of as a vet receptionist. So I was really grateful for that. But, as my daughter is getting older, I just want to be spending as much time with her as I can and, being there to support her. So all of those factors kind of came together and I just decided that it was time to make a change. But I learned a lot during my 2 years as a vet receptionist. I am so grateful for all of the things that I learned and experienced during that time. I'm so glad I did it. I'm so glad that I, in a way, fulfilled a childhood dream of working with animals in a clinical setting. I wanted to be a vet, an actual veterinarian. Obviously, didn't go that far, but, just being a part of 2 different clinics and being able to help care for animals in various ways was really special, and I'm really grateful for that. I have never met anyone in VetMed, and I've met a lot of people at this point in VetMed, who didn't absolutely adore animals. So they are all there for the love of it. Certainly not the money. And I can tell you that when I go to the vet clinic now with my dog as a customer rather than as an employee, I have such a different perspective. And I'm just so grateful for all the hard work of the whole vet team because they are overworked, they are underappreciated, they're underpaid, and they really love cats and dogs and all the animals that go to the clinic. So that is my little life update. Thank you so much for watching. And if you've made it this far, please comment down below your favorite pet emoji. We'll do that as a way to honor my 2 years as a vet receptionist and close that chapter.